A single text has the power to change her entire day. Not a long essay, not a chain of emojis, not constant "how are you" messages that flood her phone. Just one carefully chosen line can make her pause, smile, and carry thoughts of you long after she reads it. This isn't about manipulation or tricks, it's about understanding what touches a woman's emotions, what makes her feel appreciated, valued, and genuinely seen. The right words, sent at the right moment, can spark curiosity, trigger warmth, and create a subtle bond that feels effortless. Women are naturally sensitive to emotional cues, even in text. A short, meaningful message can ignite feelings that long conversations might never reach. It's about the psychology behind connection, how phrasing, timing, and intention work together to create an emotional ripple. When a woman reads a text that resonates with her heart, she smiles, thinks of you, and begins to feel a closeness that words alone in casual conversation can't always achieve. This is the secret most men overlook: texting isn't about quantity, it's about quality. One perfect message can be more powerful than hours of talking, more memorable than grand gestures, and more magnetic than constant attention. Learning this secret is about mastering emotional impact in the simplest form. To send a text that makes her smile, the first step is understanding how her mind works. Women are highly emotional beings, and their reactions are deeply influenced by feelings rather than logic. This doesn't mean they are unpredictable, it means that words carry weight in ways men often underestimate. A single phrase can spark joy, curiosity, or warmth, while an ordinary message can go unnoticed, lost among other distractions. The brain craves emotional connection. When a woman reads a text that resonates with her feelings, it releases a subtle chemical response that makes her associate that happiness with you. She starts thinking about you more, remembering your tone, your energy, and even small details that show you noticed her. It's not about flattery or excessive compliments, it's about creating moments where she feels seen and valued, even through a few simple words. Women are also wired to notice effort. A text that feels intentional, thoughtful, and specific triggers emotional engagement. Generic phrases like "hey" or "what's up" don't leave a mark. But a line that acknowledges something unique about her, her laugh, her way of thinking, or a recent achievement, creates a sense of personal connection. This is why understanding her mind is crucial. It helps you craft messages that touch emotions rather than just fill space. Curiosity plays a major role too. A woman's mind is naturally drawn to things that intrigue her or make her wonder. A text that's slightly playful, mysterious, or thought-provoking sparks engagement. She begins to read it again, think about the meaning, and imagine scenarios involving you. This mental investment increases attraction and makes her smile, not just at the words, but at the feeling those words create. Another important aspect is emotional pacing. Bombarding her with constant messages can overwhelm or even desensitize her. Her mind needs space to process the meaning and significance of your words. When you understand her emotions and respect that rhythm, each text you send becomes more impactful. She starts looking forward to your messages rather than taking them for granted. Empathy is key. By observing her moods, interests, and reactions, you can align your texts with what she values. A line that resonates with her current state of mind, whether she's feeling stressed, happy, or reflective, shows awareness and understanding. That alignment creates a subtle but strong emotional pull. She begins to feel that you get her in a way others might not. Real-life examples make this clearer. Think of times when someone sent you a message that instantly brightened your day. It wasn't long or complicated, it was perfectly timed, emotionally tuned, and meaningful. Women react the same way. They notice when a text reflects genuine attention and thought, and that reflection creates a sense of warmth and connection. Ultimately, understanding her mind isn't about guessing or manipulating, it's about noticing, empathizing, and delivering words that carry emotional significance. When you align your messages with how she feels, how her mind works, and what excites her emotionally, your texts gain a power that makes her smile instantly. A single message can shift her mood, her thoughts, and even the way she views your presence in her life. This foundation of emotional understanding is essential before crafting the secret text itself. Once you know what resonates and triggers genuine happiness, you can create messages that leave an unforgettable impact. The secret text formula. Now that we understand her mind, the next step is learning how to craft the text that actually makes her smile. The key is simplicity, sincerity, and emotional resonance. The best messages are not long or overly elaborate, they are precise, meaningful, and intentional. It's about sending something that speaks to her heart, makes her feel appreciated, and sparks a little curiosity at the same time. The first part of the formula is personalization. Generic texts are forgettable, but a message that acknowledges something unique about her instantly catches attention. It could be about something she recently shared, a habit she has, or a small detail that shows you've noticed her. For example, instead of saying, "Have a nice day," you might say, "I just remembered your laugh from yesterday, it made me smile all morning." Simple, specific, and thoughtful. She feels seen, and that awareness creates warmth. The second part is emotional resonance. The words should trigger positive feelings, joy, comfort, excitement, or even a little playful intrigue. Emotional resonance works because the brain responds more strongly to messages that create feelings rather than just convey information. Short, heartfelt phrases often work better than long paragraphs. A few well-chosen words can be more powerful than pages of explanation. Playfulness is the third part. A touch of humor, teasing, or light mystery keeps the message engaging. She shouldn't be able to predict every line from you. Something like, "I still can't figure out how you make coffee taste better just by smiling," or "I have a theory about why you always win at games, I'll test it next time," combines humor, personal connection, and curiosity. These small sparks create anticipation and make her want to engage with you more. Timing is an invisible part of the formula. Sending the right text at the right moment increases its impact exponentially. Early morning texts can brighten her day, or a message in the evening can leave her thinking of you before bed. Overloading her with constant texts diminishes the effect. One carefully timed message is far more powerful than several scattered ones. Another element is brevity. The text should be short enough to read instantly, but meaningful enough to create a pause in her thoughts. Long messages can feel overwhelming or overbearing. The perfect text makes her stop for a second, smile, and think about you. It's not about impressing her with words, it's about creating a genuine emotional reaction. Finally, authenticity ties the whole formula together. Every message should feel natural, coming from your personality and feelings. Forced or overly poetic lines can feel fake. When the text reflects who you are and how you feel, it carries emotional weight, and she senses that authenticity immediately. That's what makes her smile, not just at the words, but at the genuine emotion behind them. When combined, personalization, emotional resonance, playfulness, timing, brevity, and authenticity, the secret text becomes magnetic. She reads it, feels a spark, and remembers it long after. This is the kind of message that doesn't just make her smile for a moment, it stays in her thoughts and makes her feel a subtle connection with you, even without further explanation. Mastering this formula allows you to create consistent impact with your words. Every text becomes an opportunity to strengthen her emotional attachment, trigger joy, and make her think of you without needing constant effort. A single, perfectly crafted message can make her day and keep her anticipating your next one. Timing and context. Crafting the perfect text is only half the battle. Even the most thoughtful, heart-touching message can lose its impact if sent at the wrong time or without context. Timing and context are invisible forces that determine how a woman receives and reacts to your words. A well-timed text can make her smile instantly, while a poorly timed one can be overlooked, ignored, or even misinterpreted. Understanding her daily rhythm is essential. When is she most likely to read your messages without distractions? Morning texts can create a positive start to her day, making her think of you as soon as she wakes up. A carefully timed message in the evening can leave her feeling warm and connected before she goes to sleep. Even during the day, noticing small breaks in her routine, like a lunch break or commute, can create moments when your text is both read and felt deeply. Context matters just as much as timing. Your message should match the moment she is in. If she's stressed or busy, a playful or overly detailed text may be lost. Instead, a short, considerate line acknowledging her situation can be more powerful. For example, "I hope your meeting went smoothly. I was thinking about your smile," shows awareness and empathy while staying light and positive. A well-placed message that aligns with her emotional state demonstrates understanding and attention. Frequency is another critical factor. Sending too many messages reduces impact. She may start to take your texts for granted. A few meaningful messages, spaced thoughtfully, maintain their power. Each text becomes an event rather than background noise. This spacing allows her mind to savor each moment, think about you, and anticipate the next interaction. Subtle timing can also amplify playfulness and curiosity. A slightly delayed response, when done naturally, can spark mental engagement. She begins to wonder what you're doing, how you're feeling, or what you might say next. This doesn't mean ignoring her for days, it means creating brief pauses that encourage anticipation and emotional investment. The context of your relationship influences timing as well. If you've recently shared a meaningful moment, referencing it in a text shortly afterward can deepen the emotional connection. Even small gestures, commenting on something she enjoys, recalling an inside joke, or acknowledging a shared memory, make your message feel more significant. Context transforms simple words into emotional triggers that resonate long after she reads them. Timing also interacts with the emotional rhythm you've established. Your earlier texts, the moments of silence, the playful exchanges, all of these create a flow. Sending the right message at the peak of that emotional rhythm amplifies its effect. She is more likely to smile, think of you, and remember that moment vividly. In essence, timing and context are the hidden accelerators of emotional impact. A secret text sent without considering them is like a spark in the wind, it may fizzle out. But a text timed perfectly, delivered in context, becomes memorable, meaningful, and emotionally charged. She doesn't just read it, she feels it, internalizes it, and carries that feeling with her. Mastering timing and context ensures your messages are more than words on a screen. They become emotional experiences, moments that brighten her day, trigger curiosity, and deepen her connection with you. It's a skill that turns ordinary texting into a subtle art of attraction. Enhancing connection through text. Once you've mastered the secret text and understood the importance of timing and context, the next step is enhancing the emotional connection. A single smile-inducing message is powerful, but to build a lasting impact, you need to follow it with subtle communication that deepens her feelings without overwhelming her. The goal is to create a sense of closeness and warmth while keeping her curiosity alive. One of the most effective ways to enhance connection is through consistency. You don't need to flood her phone with messages every day. Instead, create a rhythm that feels natural and intentional. Thoughtful check-ins, light humor, or references to shared memories show that you're engaged and attentive, but they also give her space to reflect on your previous messages. This balance makes each interaction feel meaningful and special. Personalization remains key. Follow-up messages should reflect what you know about her, her interests, moods, and preferences. For instance, if she mentioned a book or show she likes, sending a short comment or playful question about it shows that you're listening and remembering. These small touches make her feel valued and deepen the sense of emotional connection. Playfulness and light teasing continue to be important. Humor creates shared experiences, even through text. A well-timed joke, a playful challenge, or a witty observation can make her smile again and again. These moments are small, but they accumulate, building a sense of intimacy that goes beyond surface-level conversation. Listening through text is another subtle yet powerful tool. When she shares her thoughts or feelings, responding with empathy or gentle encouragement shows that you care. You don't need long paragraphs, sometimes a short, thoughtful acknowledgement is enough to make her feel heard. Feeling understood is one of the strongest emotional triggers for connection, and your texts can provide that consistently. Storytelling can also enhance connection. Sharing a brief anecdote about your day, a funny incident, or an observation helps her feel like she's part of your world. When combined with humor, personal insight, or reflection, these stories make her think about you even when you're not texting. She starts to associate your messages with positive emotions and moments of enjoyment. Strategic pauses are crucial here as well. Giving her time to respond or reflect between texts allows emotional tension to build naturally. It creates space for her to anticipate your next message, increasing engagement and making each interaction more memorable. The silence between messages becomes part of the connection, rather than a lack of interest. Another technique is layering emotional depth. While your first text sparks a smile, follow-ups can include subtle expressions of care, appreciation, or admiration. These shouldn't be overwhelming declarations but gentle nudges that make her feel special and valued. Each layer of emotion strengthens the connection without forcing it, allowing her feelings to grow organically. Finally, observe her reactions and adapt. Every woman responds differently, so paying attention to which texts make her smile, laugh, or engage more gives you insights into her preferences. By tailoring your approach based on these cues, you refine your messages to have maximum emotional impact. When these elements, personalization, playfulness, listening, storytelling, strategic pauses, and emotional layering, work together, texting becomes more than a way to communicate. It becomes a tool to enhance closeness, build warmth, and create a subtle, ongoing emotional bond. She begins to think about you often, anticipate your messages, and associate your words with comfort and joy, making the connection deeper and more meaningful over time. Creating long-term emotional impact. By this stage, your texts have made her smile, sparked curiosity, and created a growing emotional connection. The final step is turning those moments into a lasting impact. It's one thing to make her happy briefly, but to truly stay in her mind and heart, your messages must build a pattern of emotional resonance over time. This is how a simple text evolves from a fleeting smile into a meaningful bond. Consistency is the foundation. Regular, thoughtful communication, without overdoing it, creates familiarity and trust. She begins to anticipate your messages because they consistently brighten her day. However, consistency doesn't mean monotony. Each text should feel intentional, fresh, and meaningful. By maintaining a rhythm that balances presence and space, you make each interaction feel valuable and memorable. Emotional layering strengthens long-term impact. Each message should build upon the previous one, adding subtle depth. One text might make her laugh, the next could show understanding or empathy, and another might reference a shared memory. Over time, these layers form an invisible thread that ties your presence to her emotions. She doesn't just smile at a single message, she starts associating you with comfort, joy, and thoughtfulness. Reinforcing curiosity is also vital. You want her to look forward to your messages, wondering what you'll say next. Playfulness, mystery, and thoughtful observations maintain engagement. You don't need grand gestures, even small, clever remarks can spark anticipation. The more she thinks about your words, the more emotional investment she develops naturally. Authenticity remains the glue that holds everything together. Messages must reflect your personality and genuine interest. Forced texts or words you wouldn't normally say will feel hollow and fail to create lasting impact. When she senses honesty and real emotion behind your words, the connection strengthens. She begins to trust not only your messages but the feelings they represent. Timing and pacing continue to matter for long-term effect. Avoid constant texting that may dilute impact. Instead, allow moments of anticipation between messages. Strategic pauses encourage her mind to replay your words, relive shared experiences, and strengthen emotional attachment. The combination of thoughtful timing, meaningful content, and authentic emotion ensures that your texts remain memorable. Another key is shared experiences. Reference moments you've shared together, inside jokes, or things she enjoys. This creates a sense of intimacy and shared history, even through simple texts. Over time, these small connections build a strong foundation that goes beyond a smile, it becomes a subtle emotional bond. Finally, be mindful of emotional triggers. Every woman responds differently, so notice what makes her laugh, think, or feel cared for. Use those insights to guide future messages, creating a personalized pattern that resonates uniquely with her. Over time, she begins to associate your texts with positive emotions so strongly that your presence, even digitally, becomes a source of joy and comfort. In the end, the secret text is just the beginning. When crafted with thoughtfulness, delivered with timing, and supported by consistent, emotionally resonant follow-ups, it becomes a powerful tool to create long-term impact. She smiles at your messages, thinks about you often, and feels a genuine connection that grows naturally. What starts as a simple text transforms into an ongoing bond, leaving her engaged, emotionally invested, and drawn toward you effortlessly. Mastering this approach means your texts no longer exist as mere words, they become experiences, memories, and feelings. She doesn't just read your messages, she feels them, remembers them, and carries them with her. This is how a single line, thoughtfully sent, can create smiles, spark connection, and leave a lasting mark on her heart and mind.